My husband brought his affair partner into our house as a tutor for our son. I divorced him, and now she's unemployed with 2 kids from 2 different men. Hey Reddit, I'm Claire, a mom of 2, almost 40, freshly divorced and still pissed. Not because I lost anything, but because I let it go on for as long as I did. But I've got my house, my kids, and my peace. So this is more of a get this crap off my chest post before I move on completely. Let's rewind. My husband Jason used to be the dream guy. Good-looking, successful, loved by my family, doted on our kids. On paper, perfect. But the thing about perfect men is, they usually come with a fine print. Our older daughter is doing great, always has. But our youngest, Max, has been struggling with school. Nothing we tried seemed to work. And I was going crazy managing work, the house, and his homework. One day, out of the blue, Jason insisted on attending Max's parent-teacher meeting. He said he felt guilty for not being more involved and wanted to support me. I remember feeling touched. He even offered to find Max a private tutor through his friend Kyle. Sounds sweet, right? Wrong. Let me pause here to say, if your husband's best friend is a 40-something man-child who's been through 3 girlfriends, brags about sugar baby apps, and always seems to have business ideas that involve other people's money, run. Jason trusted Kyle, and Kyle introduced us to Amber. Amber was studying education, spoiler alert, preschool teaching, said all the right things about being poor, hardworking, from a small town working part-time to support her sick parents, blah blah blah. And yeah, she was 20, cute, well-mannered, soft-spoken. I wasn't born yesterday. Still, Max liked her. He listened to her. So I kept paying her, even threw in bonuses when he showed improvement. I thought I was supporting a young woman trying to get ahead. Turns out Jason was supporting her too, just not in the way I imagined. Red flags started popping up like weeds. It was Max who spilled first. He asked me at dinner, "Mom, do both you and Dad pay Miss Amber?" Me. What do you mean? I heard Dad asking if she got his transfer. And last week, when you were home late, Dad was at her apartment helping her carry stuff. Jason, to his credit, went full drama. Yelled at Max for making up stories, said he was just being generous and helping a hardworking tutor. Claimed I was reading too much into it. But listen, you share a bed with someone for over a decade, you know when their eyes twitch a little too long? I knew. I just didn't have proof. Yet. So I kept playing dumb, let him think he was in the clear. A few days later, he randomly sent me $800 with a note. "Love you, babe. Just thinking of you." Yeah, that's what guilty people do. I went to a tech friend and had Jason's deleted messages recovered. I didn't even need to read half of them. The filth in those texts, I wouldn't print them in a public bathroom stall. But what pissed me off more were the texts between Jason and Kyle. "Get the shares moved before she catches on. That land in Eastwood? Let me hold it under my name for now. Bro, your wife's smart, don't slip, you're living with a lioness." A lioness, huh? Damn right. So I lawyered up, quietly, didn't yell, didn't scream, just smiled, tucked the kids in, cooked dinner like usual. Then, divorce papers. Jason cried, swore up and down, it meant nothing. Nope, you don't bring nothing into our house, you don't let nothing tutor our child. We divided assets, house to me, company to him. I didn't want his business, I wanted my kids' future secured. And I made damn sure it was. Amber? Well, turns out she wasn't as clean-cut as she acted. Got expelled, not because of me, but because of some shady stuff with her ex, Kyle. Surprise? Rumor has it she's now a mom of 2. One of them apparently looks a lot like Kyle. The other? Green hair, hooked nose, no one's sure. Jason's broke now. COVID wiped out his savings, bad investments tanked the company. Karma? Maybe. I don't care anymore. Me, I'm good. The kids are thriving. I'm not dating, people keep suggesting it, but honestly, I've got everything I need. 2 kids, 1 house, and 0 tolerance left for bullshit. So yeah, that's my story. Don't ignore your gut, ladies. If he's too helpful with the tutor, check his bank account and his deleted texts. Trust me. Thanks for letting me vent. My stepdad passed away and left me his house. Now my uncles are trying to steal it. They didn't expect what I had saved. I'm Ellie, 34. A few months ago, my stepdad, the only real father I've ever had, passed away peacefully in his sleep. He was in his 70s, and I guess it was just his time. I still remember that morning. Something in me felt off. I checked the home security cameras from work, Saw the front door still closed, assumed he had gone out to the garden as usual. I didn't call. That's something I still regret. A few hours later, a neighbor called me. He was gone. I cried for hours. I felt crushed with guilt for not being there, for not calling, for not knowing. My mom passed away 5 years ago. Since then, my stepdad lived alone in our family home in a quiet rural town while I worked in the city. He wasn't my biological father, but he raised me since I was little. Treated me like his own. Never once made me feel like I was just his wife's kid. He and my mom put so much love into that house. There was a small glass house he built upstairs just for her flowers. The kitchen was modernized with appliances I helped buy. He even planted herbs and vegetables out back, saying, "You'll need this when you come home with your kids one day." After the funeral, my Uncle Thomas, his younger brother, and Uncle Mike, my mom's side, helped organize everything. They were respectful, helpful. I was grateful. When I prepared to go back to the city, my Uncle Mike offered to keep an eye on the place. He lived nearby. I agreed, even handed him a spare key when he kept calling me to ask about getting tools or checking on things. I wasn't planning on selling the house, it was full of memories, but I didn't have time to stay there long term, so I figured it would be safe in family hands. I was wrong. 6 months later, I returned for a short break, hoping to spend a peaceful weekend at the house. The moment I opened the front gate, I felt a wave of rage rise up. The yard was filled with junk, kids' toys, rusty gardening tools, plastic crates, even what looked like an old couch. Inside the kitchen, someone had clearly been cooking there. There were dishes in the sink. The guest bed, used. The master bedroom, my parents' room, had someone else's blankets on it. I panicked, thought it was a break-in, but no. My Uncle Mike's son, a cousin I barely talked to, casually told me, "Oh yeah, Uncle Thomas moved in a few months ago, said you weren't using the place anyway." I was stunned. They hadn't even called, just moved in. I confronted them. Thomas and his wife showed up like it was some neighborly drop-by. Friendly, too friendly. "You're doing great in the city. What's the harm in letting us stay here?" "Rural life's hard, Ellie. Let us enjoy retirement here." I told them politely but firmly that I had planned to use the house, that I'd always intended to return occasionally, that it was still my home. They laughed. "Oh, come on. You really want to leave your city job and live here? You're just being sentimental." Weeks later, Uncle Mike's son called me again, this time with an ultimatum. "Look, technically this house was your grandparents' before your stepdad lived here. Everyone knows it should have been split among the brothers. Either let our whole family move in, or sell it and divide the cash." They even had an offer from someone willing to pay nearly $500,000. They wanted me to take $100K. And them, the remaining $400K. I was livid. This house was legally transferred to my stepdad by my grandparents, and after my mom died, he made a will leaving everything to me. He had no biological children. He never asked for anything from his siblings. He and my mom cared for my grandparents until the end, alone. But of course, when a house is sitting empty and emotions fade, greed finds its way in. As the arguing heated up, voices rising, accusations flying, my teenage son came in through the front door. He must have heard everything. I tried to shoo him away, but he said, "Mom, I need to show you something." He pulled out his phone and played a voice memo. It was my stepdad's voice, crystal clear. I didn't have children of my own, but I had a daughter. Ellie is my daughter. After I'm gone, everything I own goes to her, especially the old house. Thomas and Mike both know this. I raised her. She cared for me. This house is hers. If they ever try to take it, she has every right to fight back. Go to court if you have to. Don't let them steal what's yours. I broke down sobbing. I never knew he recorded that. Apparently he had once asked my son to record some messages, just in case. My son, bless him, had saved it all these years. The room went dead silent. Uncle Thomas and Mike didn't speak for several minutes. Faces red, embarrassed. Then came the fake smiles. "Ah well, no need to fight. Family's family. Of course you can keep the house. We were just confused." They left soon after. I sat on the porch and cried like a child. Not from fear, not from anger, but from the overwhelming wave of love and protection I still felt from a man who wasn't even my biological father. He saw this coming, and he protected me, even after death. And me? I never once called him dad. Not out loud, not when he could hear me. If I could go back, I'd call him that every single day.
My boss dragged me into her divorce, then told me I'm her next husband. I just wanted to keep my job. I swear this isn't made up. My name's Jason. Been working at this marketing firm in Chicago for about 7 months. It's a pretty chill job. Good salary, young team, office snacks, the usual. Most people would call me lucky. At least I was lucky until I became my boss's personal emotional support driver / post-divorce rebound target. My direct manager, Heather, let's call her that, is a force of nature, mid-30s, always in heels, never repeats an outfit, the kind of woman who doesn't ask for things, she delegates them, commands them even. I respected her from day one, maybe even feared her a little, but it wasn't until about month 4 that things started getting weird. At first, it was small stuff. She'd ask me to help with printing, even though we have an admin. Then she'd send me out to pick up her oat milk latte, even when someone else was already heading out. Then it escalated. Jason, I need a ride. Let's go for a drive. Every single day. During my lunch break. At first I thought, okay, maybe she likes fresh air. Maybe this is her version of stress management. We didn't talk much. She just stared out the window while I drove aimlessly through downtown. Rain or shine, silent drives, every day. I didn't complain. You don't question Heather. One Tuesday, Heather slid into my cubicle like a mission commander. Jason, drive me here today, no questions. I looked at the address. It was across town. Cool, I thought. New route, why not? Until I got closer and saw the sign, Harbor View Motel. I stopped the car, looked at her. She didn't flinch. Ma'am, I said. Yes, I called her ma'am. I'm just your employee. I don't want to overstep, but is this appropriate? She turned, totally deadpan. You're about to meet my husband. What? She stepped out of the car like a queen arriving at war. I followed her, not because I was brave, but because I didn't want to be charged with accessory to whatever was about to happen. We walk into the motel room. Inside, her husband, in jeans, on the bed, next to a girl who looks like she just got her nails done and has no idea how to spell conflict. They freeze. Heather doesn't. She walks up to him, slaps him clean across the face, pulls out a neatly folded piece of paper, slaps that on the table too. Sign it, we're done. Her voice, calm, deadly. I'd rather be hit by a bus. He signs it. No yelling, no bargaining, just pen to paper, like he's signing a FedEx package. I'm in the corner of the room trying not to breathe too loud. I don't belong here. I am a child who wandered into an HBO series. Back in the car, I don't say a word. But she does. She cranks the radio, starts singing, like belting Adele singing, like she just dropped a toxic 200 pounds of man weight and is now free. Then she tells me to stop for coffee. Let's bring the team some. I'm in a good mood. We walk into the office, her radiant and reborn, me pale and possibly traumatized. She buys 14 iced caramel macchiatos. That night I get a message from her. Now that I'm free, I can finally pursue what I want. Jason, I'm choosing you. You're going to be my second husband. I blinked. Twice. Read it again, then a third time because surely this was autocorrect. But no, it was very real, complete with a lipstick emoji. Then came another text. Don't forget our lunch drive tomorrow, babe. I didn't reply. I just lay there blinking at the ceiling like a prisoner waiting for a helicopter rescue. Next morning I considered calling in sick or dead. But I showed up, like an idiot, hoping maybe she was just expressive. In a weird way. She walked in, eyes locked on me, and said loud enough for the whole floor to hear, "Damn, Jason, you get hotter every day." Then she leaned in, blew me a kiss, whispered, "Lunch, handsome, and maybe dinner, if you behave." I wanted to evaporate. I don't want to date my boss. I don't want to marry my boss. I don't want to be anyone's second husband, especially not after witnessing their first marriage explode in a motel. But I really like this job, and Heather is powerful and terrifying and weirdly charming in a mafia wife meets Devil Wears Prada kind of way. I'm scared that if I reject her, I'll be unemployed by Friday. Or worse, her next ex. What do I do? How do I let her down gently without ending up in HR or in a matching wedding tux? And why does this feel like a Netflix dark comedy with no off button? Reddit, send help.